Hi, Ken. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Adam?
Good, thank you.
Good. Froze there, Adam.
Adam, you froze, so we're going to go to Mookie and we'll come back to you.
Ken, do you have me?
Nope. There you are. Adam. Oh, now I can't hear you.
Coach Dorsey, Mookie Hawkins, Buffalo Sports Today. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Mookie?
I'm okay, Coach. I'm okay. Devin Singletary's averaging 5 yards to carry, up 20-7. Why not run the ball more in elements with Cook and Singletary there down the stretch?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, looking at the game. I think you could always look back and, wish you had calls back and wish you had, certain things called and everything. But we just felt like at the time, we trust in Josh and we trust obviously in what we can do in certain aspects. And we definitely were mixing some of those. We were trying to still stay balanced with the run and the pass, and trying to create some doubt in their mind so we didn't get lopsided one way or the other. And that's the biggest thing for us, is to make sure we're trying to keep the defense off balance by dictating having to react to us and not the other way around, because we're getting one dimensional. So I think that's the biggest thing. We mixed in some RPOs and things like that, some of which we gave, some of which we pulled. But we got a lot of trust in, obviously, Devin and all those guys. But we just want to make sure, we're doing our best to keep the defense off balance by hopefully a little bit of balance and a little bit of everything.
Now, Diggs motioning out of the backfield yesterday, I thought you was on to something because it was a big game. Why not go back to that mismatch?
Yeah, we did. We just try to give it different looks, so we were trying to give it some different looks. And so we did that one time. We just lined up, and another time we got a similar type look. And, they're a good defense over there. And, they do some things to adjust, and then it creates, you to work through your progression and find other guys. So I think the biggest thing for us is again, just trying to create some different looks for them, to create, some matchups for us, and not let them adjust and know exactly what's coming by giving the same look too many times.
One more, if I may, Coach. Now, with Josh
No
being as mobile as he is and greatly accurate when he's outside the pocket, will we see more design rollouts so he's not a target in the pocket?
I think that's something we definitely look at each and every week, and based off of what we're seeing, try to incorporate as much as we can. So it's definitely something we're constantly looking at and constantly evaluating to see if we could get to, and see if it's something we could take advantage of.
Appreciate your time, Coach. Have a great week of practice.
Thank you.
Hi, Ken. Adam Benini. I'm sorry. I just had a brief computer issue on my end. The question I was going to ask you is kind of more in a general sense, and it's kind of a national question at this point, acknowledging a 10-3 record and all the success that you've had. Is this offense functioning at a level that you're comfortable with right now, or in terms of looking to the postseason and competing there for what this team's ultimate goal is? How much progress do you feel you need to make still on that side of the ball?
I think you're always growing, you're improving. I think games like yesterday are hugely important for an offense moving forward. Anytime you play against a tough opponent who's really good on defense, and you have to kind of scratch and claw for every yard you get. I mean, that's playoff football right there. That's what it's going to be. Not everything's going to be perfect in the course of a playoff game either. So, I think, we've done a lot of great things up until this point. There was a lot of great things up in that game yesterday. And I'm excited about the direction in which this offense is going, and it's going to continue to grow week in and week out. And I think we're definitely trending in the direction we need to be. And again, though, first things first, we got to make the playoffs, and we got to get there. So it doesn't matter how you get there. The key is winning football games, whether it's by 1 point or 20 points. Our mission is to put up enough points to help our team win, and I feel like that's what our goal is each and every week.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Hi, Ken. It's Jay with the Buffalo News. I understand drops can be I understand drops can be kind of a subjective stat, but I think, conservatively yesterday, you probably identified 4 or 5 that you would consider those to be. how big of an issue do you feel like that has been for your offense this year? And I guess the obvious question then is just how do you go about fixing something like that?
Well, no, that's a great point. I think it crept up on us a little bit more than normal this past game. And, it's just something that we're going to focus on and make sure we're back to the fundamentals of coming back strong to the ball, attacking the ball, making sure we're looking at all the way into the tuck and focusing on the catch first and then, rack after the catch, so I think that's something we haven't had a huge issue throughout the year with it. I think it crept up on a little bit of a larger scale this past game, and it's something we'll definitely focus on this week moving forward.
Okay. And then third down numbers yesterday, 2 1/3, tough. I guess just in your film review, what did you identify as some of the big issues on third down? And sort of same question, how do you go about trying to fix that on a short week?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is one, obviously, our execution and just making sure that we're on top of the details of protection, assignment of route depth, route location, then decision by the quarterback and getting the guys involved. So it's overall execution, I think, first and foremost. But then what really kind of goes into that as well is I think we were probably a little bit higher on third and longer situations this week as well. So we need to make sure we're doing a good job of giving ourselves a good opportunity on first and second down to convert on third down by staying out of third and longer type situations.
Okay. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate your time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ken, dovetailing off of Jay's question, Josh and the competitive nature that he brings to the game. I know you always tell him be smart, but stay aggressive. How do you balance his competitive fire and wanting to make bigger plays while also being mindful of the fact, hey, we're going against a pretty good defensive line here. Maybe let's just stay on schedule so we're not in those third and longs that you referenced.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that we talked about in terms of where we're happy with just Josh's growth this past game, because it's like when everything's not going perfect and you want to score points on every single drive, but when you hit a little bit of a lull, he did a really good job of not all of a sudden just trying to force balls into windows and those types of things. So I think that growth is encouraging to see. Now obviously just there's some certain things we're going to look at in terms of, hey, if they're flying out, what's our decision thought process? Or, if we've got a shot, let's go ahead and take advantage of it. So that's always something that we're going to continue to coach and continue to focus on with him and with any quarterback. I think that's important. I think guys throughout the league, you see it all the time. It's like they get in the, hey, I want to make a play right here mode and come, no matter what's going to happen, I'm going to take a shot right here. And, that's what you constantly try to fight, because it's just human nature, of wanting to do that. So I think he's really grown a lot in terms of decision-making thought process from day one since I've been here till right now. And it's a constant evolution and a constant growth, I think, that you see throughout quarterbacks throughout the NFL.
And do you feel like there were even examples within this week's film where, yeah, you guys punt your first 5 times, but then the last drive of the second quarter, first drive of the third quarter, he did actually take some checkdowns and put you in more favorable down and distance. So is it almost an exercise within that game itself, going over that tape with him saying, hey, slow start, but then look, you take the check down, good things happened?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, no doubt. And I think part of that though is, it's not all just whether it's Josh outletting the ball or what have you. I think there's a lot of factors that kind of led up to, us, the slower start to start this game. And so, yeah, some of that is outletting the ball. Some of it is just our overall execution, as a whole unit. So, I think there was some certain things there, whether it was, a drop here and there, whether it was a penalty here and there. I think there was a lot of different factors that kind of factored into that, not just Josh and saying he it was all him. So again, it's offensive football is the ultimate team sport. It's the ultimate team test. It's 11 guys have to be operating together for a play to succeed. If one guy messes up, it generally kind of messes up an entire play. So I think that's part of the focus that we got to make sure really harping on this week is it takes all 11 guys, and it takes, us as coaches to make sure we're putting our guys in the right position. It takes us making sure we're coaching the techniques and the responsibilities well enough. And then it's up to all 11 guys on the field to take responsibility to do their job.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Good afternoon, Coach Dorsey. George Radney, Challenger Committee News. How you doing this afternoon?
Good. How are you, George?
Great day. And 2 questions for you. One, with roughly 7:53 left in the game, why did you guys decide to ball 3 consecutive plays instead of running them? Instead of running the ball 3 consecutive plays to run that clock down and force the Jets to start using some of their timeouts? Because with Quentin with Williams out of the game, the nose tackle, the all-pro nose tackle for the Jets, after he left the game, why do you guys pound the middle where he was gone at? You guys seem to have great success when you did run it, but it seems like you guys still don't run the ball enough.
And I'm sorry, you broke up there for a second. You said with 7 minutes left in the game?
Yes.
Yeah, I think at that point, our focus was, we still have to run our normal offense, and we still have to, run our offense because there's still plenty of time left, and they're not going to be burning timeouts with 7 minutes left. So I think that was part of our thought process there, is we're running normal offense to try to score points. And that was our biggest
Tell me if I
focus
need to
right
go to
there.
the next question.
Oh,
Pardon?
sorry. Oh, no. So yeah, our biggest focus right there with 7 minutes left was normal offense to try to score points. And then still at the same time, making sure we're using up as much clock as possible right there as well. In terms of our run game philosophy and kind of what we're looking to attack. Again, I think there were definitely some points of the game where we had some success inside, and there was definitely some points of the game where we did, and that's part of the run game. That's part of just overall offensive football and execution. But I do think at the same time, I think we did a good job of not being one-dimensional in the run game, attacking the edges, hitting some misdirection stuff on them, as well as hitting some runs up the middle. So, I just don't think, you want to become one-dimensional no matter what the situation is, because their front is pretty deep there as well. So they're able to rotate a lot of guys in that forces you to have to attack in different ways.
Oh, excellent. One last quick one. Josh running the ball. Is it with the putting the ball in the hands of your running backs a little more, possibly during the rest of the way here, to try to keep the quarterback out of harm's way?
Well, I think that's something that we've tried to do throughout the year. And, we don't typically call it like, a mass number of runs for Josh. It's we try to be judicious with it. We try to be smart with it, and try to use them when we feel like it's a situation that calls for it. And I agree with you. We don't want to create an unnecessary pounding on them. So we'll be smart with when we're using them and how we're using them. And we've got a lot of faith in our running backs, and we'll still continue to make sure we're getting them as many touches as we can as well.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this coming weekend.
Thank you.
Hey, Ken. We had talked some last week going into the Jets game about what it would be like for you facing an opponent for the second time as an offensive coordinator now. And I was wondering, you had said it was going to be a fun challenge and opportunity. So just how did you feel it went from your vantage point, and what can you take from that going into this Miami game?
Yeah, I think it was definitely a challenge, especially as good of a defense as they do have over there. And they do a really good job in adjusting and doing some certain things. So I think the importance of trying to create some uncertainty on their side of the ball a little bit with some different looks and some different concepts and things like that to try to keep them off balance is important, while not losing your own identity. So I think that's something you definitely take from that is making sure that you're finding new and creative ways to attack without losing your identity as an offense and what you do best, and continually try to put pressure on them in with different looks, and whether it's personnel based, formation based, concept based.
And then to jump topics, Dawson had said after the game that the play where he drew the penalty was maybe one of his favorite plays in all of his NFL career. Obviously, he scored a touchdown that drive too. So I was curious just what it's like hearing that from him, and also, your thought process going into that play.
No, it's great. I mean, Dawson's been so great for us all year. It was really good to see one, him have such a pivotal role in, not only that play, but just that game in general. I mean, the touchdown catch he had was huge for us. He's been such a great tool for us all year and a great piece to what we are as an offense, even though like some games, the numbers don't necessarily show it. It's just whether, sometimes it's just the luck of the draw, whether or not, the ball's coming your way or not based off the defense. And that's a credit to Josh of not trying to force it to guys and making sure he's going through his progressions. So for him to have such a pivotal role in this game and such a crucial game for us was really good to see, so we want to make sure to continue with that. But it's awesome to hear, that's one of the highlights for him.
Yeah. Is that kind of a testament to his unselfish nature that he's saying, I love this play where I don't get any stats out of it?
No doubt. I think we've got a team that's like that in general. I think Dawson's just the epitome of that, guys that are extremely unselfish. I mean, all these guys, like, they're talented football players. And I know all these guys want the ball and feel like they could help us win, from Dawson to Gabe to Steph to Motor to, all these guys, so I think it's just a testament to this group that, they understand the bigger goal, the bigger vision, and the bigger picture of, the most important thing is trying to come out and win a football game. And I think we got a really good group in terms of that's the most important thing to them. And they're willing to do whatever it takes to help us do that.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
Hey, Ken, Mike Giardi, NFL Network. How are you?
Good. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing well. I wanted to ask you, as you go through the course of a game, and obviously Dion was coming back from the high ankle and pretty speedily, and you had some other issues up front. How much are you looking at what happens up front, and how much does that influence you and kind of what you want to do going in? And then, all right, the game's playing out, and now we're having a problem with this guy, or this isn't happening, and you have to make adjustments that way.
Oh, it's a great question. I think, when you're calling it, when I was in the position of quarterback coach, you're just kind of looking at ideas and trying to throw things out there of like, hey, this might work, but when you're calling it, and this is something you learn as you're going, there's such an overall big picture on how you're calling the game, whether it's what they're doing defensively, whether it's, what's giving us problems, whether it's, hey, we're having success with, and we find different ways to do that, or whether it's how well your defense is playing at the time too. So I think there were some factors in that game yesterday that dictate our style of play a little bit, as well as the defense was playing, and just how much of a field position battle that game was, because of the elements, because of, some different factors going on. So I think there was some different things that caused you to adjust, and you've got your plan going in. But I think good coaches say, okay, well, hey, we got to adjust and kind of tweak things based off of what's happening in the course of the game.
Because this group has been together by and large, most of your guys have been for several years now. Is it easier to sort of say, all right, I know we didn't practice this a ton this week, we were focusing on this, but because of what you're talking about, these things are happening, we can shift gears because there's an institutional knowledge that allows you to say, remember 2 weeks ago when we did this, we might want to bring that back now.
No, there's no question. And to be honest, some of our more successful plays yesterday that really helped us in critical situations were stuff that we just called that weren't in the game plan. And I think that's a true testament to our guys. One, just their knowledge, two, their flexibility, and then three, just their unselfishness, of, okay, I know this play's not coming to me, but I'm going to clear this thing out like like nobody's business right there, to help this guy get open. And it's, I think there's a lot of factors that go into that. But yeah, that's, there was a few times yesterday in the course of the game where we needed critical plays, and we were able to pull from plays that weren't even on our game plan.
Awesome. Thank you, Ken.
Mm-hmm.
That's all for today. Thanks, Ken.
All right. Thank you, guys.